my chérie! Welcome back to the channel. My name is April and I am your French ate. So if you're new to this channel, here we talk about immigration, working and studying abroad, lifestyle, and cross-cultural communication. We also feature some of our subscribers' expat stories, so we could learn from their experience and be inspired by the achievements. So if you like this type of videos, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button so you wouldn't miss any upcoming videos. And if you already are a subscriber, merci beaucoup, ma chérie, and welcome back. I have been extremely busy lately, oh my gosh. So forgive because I haven't really uploaded a vlog in a while, but yeah, because actually we moved into our new apartment. So now we're located in central Paris. So it's a lot more convenient, and our daughter is going to study soon. So the school is just à côté, or just across the street actually. But today I am back and we're going to talk about 10 things you need to know before moving to France. Also known as the hexagon, as we call it here, is located in the western side of Europe and is the top or #1 tourist destination in the world. By the looks of it, of course, it's not impossible that many people would love to migrate here. But I'm sorry to break your imagination, because today we're going to talk about the reality of being an immigrant in France. France is actually located at the crossroads of 4 completely different countries with very distinct cultures. The only way for France to develop as a country was to create its own strong culture, which is unique but also contains a bit of its neighbors. In 2018, there were 6.5 million immigrants in France, and that's 9.7% of the total population. But those were only the documented immigrants. Of course, there are undocumented ones, quite a lot actually. But compared to the US, for example, France is quite lenient to undocumented immigrants. And, you know, like after 5 to 10 years, they eventually manage or eligible to apply for carte de séjour, or, you know, the proper document eventually. But I'm not saying that you should try, and please don't, because it's always best to be legal, and you know, you don't want to take that extreme risk. So here are the 10 things you need to know before moving to France. #1, and very obvious actually, is of course, learn French. French people are historically not very good with foreign languages. And the more French you will know, they will be eventually a lot more nicer to you and be more patient. So if you're moving to France, English is not useful. It will not help you in terms of integration and career improvements. So I suggest you sign up to any French course online right now. #2, learn some courtesy. A good example here is the number of bisous in every city or region in France. Like in Ile-de-France or Paris and its suburbs, the bisous or kisses on the cheek are only 2, and you start from left to right. So you do like, voila. However, French people are not attached to form. It is a bit of a cliche, but it does have some truth. They tend to consider that focusing too much on appearances and being overly nice is hypocrisy. On the other hand, restraint is viewed as quality. So yeah, and they even have like proper restaurant etiquette, and I suggest you click this video right here. I talked about restaurant etiquette in France. So yeah, check it out. It's actually my most viewed video. #3, France is not just Paris. I think this is important because a lot of people are still confused between France and Paris. I actually read recently that someone was asking on social media, which country is better, Spain or Paris? And I'm like, of course Spain, because Paris is not a country. You know what I mean? One thing I like the most about France is that in every region or every part of the country, they look kind of different. Like, for example, if you go to the northeast side, like Alsace, for example, you know, the region of Alsace, where Strasbourg is, the structure or the architecture of the city actually kind of similar to Germany already, but with a touch of French, of course. And when you go to the western side, they look a bit like the English, because it's near the Britain already. And the Mediterranean in the south actually is my favorite. These are the cities by the sea, you know, Cannes, Nice, my favorite cities. Actually, the lifestyle in every region is also different. So let's use, for example, my favorite region in the south of France. They're different. They already have like the lifestyle kind of similar to Spain and Italy. So they have longer siesta, and you know, it's chill. The vibe is really relaxed, and the food is mostly Mediterranean. So yeah, it's very popular in the summer. So a lot of Parisians go to the south of France to relax in the summer. Typically, Parisians are actually regarded as arrogant or pedantic by non-Parisians, whereas the Parisians regard the non-Parisians as uncultured. This is cliche, of course, but there's some truth in it, but it really highlights the difference or the division of Paris and the rest of France. This is actually similar to Philippines, like for example, the Bisaya. I am Bisaya, so we Bisayas are kind of like regarded by the Tagalogs based on our accent, that we, you know, they laugh at our accent when we speak Tagalog, and we're kind of like war freak, or like, you know, tough, like the famous Annabel Rama. And we talk like, ano day, ano dong, saan na dong yun? Ay, kain na ba tayo? Maglakad ba tayo? Something like that. But yeah, it's kind of true as well, but you know, we shouldn't just laugh at our accent based on that. Number 4, public education and healthcare are universal and free. There is not much racism or discrimination in the country. This is mainly because of the country is built in the egalitarian society, and everyone is important. In terms of education, all public schools are free, and kids should go to school from 3 years old to 16 years old. So there's no excuse for parents for not sending their kids to school. This is the contrary to the Philippines, where I grew up, because their education is optional, and it is also the parents' choice when do they want to send their kids to school. So for me, for example, in early 90s, I was 5 years old, I think, when I started going to school. Then when I was 6 years old, I automatically started grade 1 or primary 1. So it really depends on the parents. I'm sure now they got a little bit stricter on that. Please comment down below and update us about the educational system in the Philippines, because I've read some time ago that they changed a little bit. Anyway, so that was my experience. And here in France, all kids should go to school at the age of 3. So I have a daughter, and she's 2.5 years old, and she is required to attend school in September, the beginning of École Maternelle. But my Filipino mindset is telling me that she's too young to go to school. She's too young to go to school. She's too young to go to school. Yeah. But of course, I have to obey the French law. They know what they're doing. So we selected a school nearby. That's why we moved into a new apartment, actually, because of that. And yeah, so now I'm a bit excited. I have a preschooler. Fifth thing that you should know before moving to France is that France has the best healthcare system in the world. Yes, they really claim this, and yeah, based on my experience, I agree. It really is the best. So this is actually very broad, and we still have a long way to go on my list. So I'm going to discuss this healthcare system with you next time. I'm going to teach you how you can optimize this and get free sunglasses and things like that next time on this channel. Next one. French people love to talk about their culture and their appeal to the world. So knowing a bit of French culture and history will get you along the way to start a conversation at a party or among your colleagues, you know. But French people are also aware of its decline to the world. So if you're moving to France, get to know a bit of their culture and history, so you can get along with them and have a small talk during coffee break, you know. 7, French and religion. It is assumed that French people are not really religious, but this is not really true because a lot of people are practicing Christian, both Catholic and Protestant, you know, born-again Christians like me, for example. There are so many of us here, and there are many different churches, you know. So France is really open to all religions, and Islam is also present. But the history of the Christian faith is also very tied to French history, and in a very unique way. At some point, the Pope was even based in France. Even those who do not practice religion learn about it through the history of the country or for cultural reasons. So do not assume that French people do not respect religion or are ignorant of it. Many holidays in France actually are based on Christianity, and I'm talking beyond Christmas and Easter's here. So when I was new, I was like, what? Monday, the next day, was a holiday, for example, and I'm like, why? What's up? Because actually that was the Pentecostal Monday or the Ascension Monday. So meaning even the Ascension of Jesus and Mary and the Pentecost days, among many other Christian feasts, are public holidays in France. And I personally thought that was cool, and as a Christian myself, I'm glad that we as a country honor these public holidays. Because in the Philippines, I grew up in this Catholic country, but these Ascension days are not public holidays. So I was really surprised when I was new in France. Next, get to know some regular food you will eat when you live in France. If you're Asian and you can't live without eating, you know, your traditional food, so that's going to be a problem. Except if you're going to move to Paris or its suburbs and, you know, bigger cities. But if you will move into countryside or, you know, small towns, then Asian restaurants or Asian markets are not really present. So you really have to adapt and get to know the local food that you will be eating once you move to France. Next, the French administration is very, very slow. So this means that all your administrative applications like Sécurité sociale or carte de séjour or carte de résident, among any other things, will take time to be approved. So I suggest you complete all the requirements, and of course it's better to have extra documents in your dossier or file. That way, you know, it's better to have more than, oh, one is missing, things like that. And don't forget to translate your birth certificates and any documents that were not in French before submitting, because they will really not try or not honor anything that's not in French. And this way, it will save you more time and you'll be more productive, especially if you're like a spouse of a French citizen, for example. You need to have like a valid carte de séjour right away if you want to start working. So yeah, speed up, you know, dépêchez-vous. Finally reached to number 10, and this is definitely last but not the least. Book a rendezvous. In English, the word rendezvous is being used to refer to a date or an arrangement to meet someone, especially secretly at a particular place and time. But in French, it simply means to book an appointment, and this is literally everywhere. Before coming to France, I lived in Singapore for almost 5 years, and Singapore is actually a very fast-paced country. So when I arrived in France, I was so excited to start my new life, you know. So I checked on the website of the bank, La Banque Postale, and I prepared all the documents. Then I walked in and I just said, oh, bonjour. And then English, I was so new. And then I told the guy, the banker, that I was there to open a bank account. And then he told me, oh, vous avez un rendez-vous, madame? I'm like, no, but how can I get one? Are you free now? Or, you know, something like that? Or where am I gonna queue to get a rendezvous? You have to call the bank to book a rendezvous. Or sur l'internet, so book a rendezvous to open a bank account online. So I was lost and I'm like, yeah, okay. I thought that was just an option, so I just walked in, because in Philippines, in Singapore, I'm not sure in the other countries, but those two countries where I've lived, yes, I can just walk in with my complete documents just to open a bank account. Gosh, that was so disappointing. I mean, you were so excited to open a bank account in this new country where you just moved into. And then the banker just told you that, no, you have to go home, you have to call, you have to book a rendezvous. I mean, who does that? French, apparently. So those were the 10 things that you should know before moving to France, and I hope you found them useful. Be prepared. Don't be like me when I was new. I was so naive. I've never been to Europe, never been to France before migrating in France. So yeah, that was really such an adventure. But I learned my lessons through experience, and yeah, that's why I'm sharing this with you guys. I mean, you don't have to know everything, of course. Just be informed of the important things, like the 10 things I mentioned. And don't be scared. Sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. So that's it from your French Ate today. Thank you so much, Miss Sherry, for joining me. And I hope you are happy and well. Take care, guys, and I'll see you on my next video. And actually, it's gonna be a special video because we are going on a family vacation. I know it's pandemic, but it's getting better in Europe. But of course, we're still required to wear a mask. Yeah. But once you're vaccinated, you can travel around Schengen states. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna take you with me. And we're gonna go to the eastern side of Europe because I haven't been to the east. So I am so excited to see the east. And yeah, so I'll see you. Please do not forget to hit the subscribe button so you wouldn't miss that video and many other new videos that I will post. Thank you, guys, and hit the subscribe button also if you like this video. Merci, au revoir, bisous.